Welcome back to Alberta Primetime and our first Monday Money Panel of 2012. Many New Year's resolutions center around our personal wealth or lack thereof. And with us tonight for insight on money resolutions, which might stand a chance of lasting longer than your Christmas tree, Jim Yee, a financial educator and founder of retirehappy.ca. Jim, good to see you. In Calgary tonight, Beth Hamilton-Keene, Director and Portfolio Manager, More Investment Management, and Shafik Hirani, Director and Senior Executive Financial Advisor with Investors Group Calgary. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right. Shafik, first off, are there some don'ts when it comes to resolving to be more financially stable this year? Don'ts.
Yeah,
Let's start there.
Yeah, well, you know, there's a lot of don'ts, and we start off with such engagement with our New Year's resolutions, like I plan to do this, and I plan to eat healthy, and I plan to work out, and over time, we tend to lose that desire and that passion to work out, to eat better. Same thing applies to money. So the first don't, I would say, is don't give up if you start to have spent a lot of money during Christmas and a lot during the New Year's. Don't give up on starting to save your investments, and don't avoid the common mistakes. Those would be the main don'ts, I would say, Mike.
All right, Beth, your recommended resolutions.
Well, three categories. One is debt that you need to focus on. Another would be your spending behavior, and another one would be your saving behavior. And small steps is the biggest resolution that you can promise yourself. Small, concrete, doable things. So on the debt reduction, decide how much of your debt you want to pay off this year if you have that debt, and work it out. If it's going to be, I want to reduce my debt by X dollars by the end of the year, how much do I have to do each month to get there? On the savings side, save for some of your purchases. If you've got a big ticket purchase coming up, be it a vacation in the next 12 months, be it a dishwasher or even a car, start to save. Put aside some money in a small account that you can begin to accumulate so you don't have to depend on credit cards. Get yourself out of that credit card habit if you can. And then on the savings standpoint, we're expecting a lot of volatility this year. Really isn't that much new from last year. As a result, take advantage of dollar cost averaging. Many of Albertans have said that they want to save more, that they want to take about 10% of their earnings every year. Well, commit to it. Sign up for that monthly dollar cost averaging plan with your bank or your paycheck or whether you're investment manager, and commit to doing it.
Jim, you recommend perhaps more of a financial annual checkup as opposed to maybe resolutions. What should people do?
Yeah, I think with, you know, like Shafik and Beth both alluded to, the problem with most resolutions is they're short-term in nature and they don't necessarily translate to long-term habits. So one of the habits I always suggest people get into is just do an annual checkup. January is a great time to do your annual checkup. You know, 10 things I like to cover. You know, get your net worth statement, figure out what you're worth, is it growing, you know, and in doing that you can't help but deal with financial assets and debt. Figure out your spending, understand if you're living within your means, check your if you're saving enough money, do a bit of a checkup there. Do you have enough life insurance? You know, deal with the risk management side of things. Has big changes happened to you this last year? Did you get married? Did you have kids? Did you get divorced? You know, big changes often allude to or deal with, require changes to your finances as well. So, you know, if you just do an annual checkup and you get into the habit of doing that every year, you can't help but realize where you need to pay some attention, set some goals, and hopefully that annual checkup will lead you into these ongoing changes in your finances.
And the last one, we had the graphic there. The last one, are you happy with your finances?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the perspective is, you know, we can get so focused on the money, we can get focused on MERs and tax rates, but at the end of the day, you know, just to take a step back and look at your life and say, are you happy with it? And I think, you know, most people, if you know, we can still put food on the table, we can still, you know, pay for the minivan, and we can still go afford to go on a holiday here or there, you know, just to get some perspective that, look, you know, yes, we need to save more, yes, we need to tackle our debt, but at the end of the day, are you happy? And hopefully you are. And if you're not, then you got to do some serious changing. So.
Shafik, what would be a safe resolution for someone looking to make a real difference with their finances in 2012?
You know, I see throughout working in the investment industry, I always see people trying to cut their grocery bill, cut their utility bill, cut their mortgage bill. People often forget that their biggest bill, their biggest expense is their tax bill. About 40% of every dollar we make goes to taxes. So the first thing I would recommend people do is cut their tax bill by taking advantage of tax shelters like the TFSAs that are available, like the RSPs, things like that. The second thing that I would suggest people consider is everybody does look at, like Jim said, their current assets and liabilities, their current net worth, and their current income and expenditures, but they forget to project that out to 10 years from now. And if I would encourage one thing, it's project your current state out to 10 years, 20 years from now to get more of a clear picture of your path. You can't build a puzzle without a picture of the box. So that's the two recommendations I would make.
All right, let's look forward into 2012. We've just come out of an economically tumultuous year globally. Beth, and you alluded to this in your first response there, not all forecasts looking rosy for this year.
Well, certainly we've left 2011 behind, so the year in reviews are complete. Now we graduate into our favorite January pastime of forecasting for the next 12-month period, and that is going to be a robust and full time of doing that. Certainly, I would say there's actually been a recent survey of chartered financial analysts globally, and the outlook is fairly pessimistic, I would say. The outlook, there's lots of things to continue to be concerned about, lots of things to continue to be cautious about. There may be a few surprises along the way, but definitely we're expecting to see interest rates stay in the lower end. We're worried about growth being very tepid or slipping into recession, again, a carryover from 2011, and continued worries about the European debt crisis and what that could mean to credit availability around the world. China is another one that you will see some eye towards. Whether China is in a soft landing position or a hard landing position, still a growing scenario, really. When they get into a soft landing position, we're talking about a growth less than 7%, which we would all love to have in our developed countries. So those are some things to watch about. In Canada, I would say interest rate complacency may be something in the near term that as interest rates stay low and we get a little too used to that, what will that mean if interest rates do begin to go up? And how will that affect perhaps our housing prices and really our ability to cost and carry our debt?
A lot of people be nervous over that one. Jim, what trends do you see us looking to watch in 2012?
Yeah, 20 years in the financial industry, I get asked this question a lot, and I have the same answer every single time. I don't know. I don't care. And at the end of the day, I always tell people, focus on things you can control. You don't know what's going to happen to interest rates. You don't know what's going to happen to the stock market. You don't know what's going to happen to housing prices or gold or what's going to happen in China. We all try and predict it, and it may be fun, it may be entertaining, but I like to be entertained in other ways. And so I tell people, focus on things you can control. Focus on your net worth statement. Focus on your ability to save. Focus on your what you're spending. Focus on your income. It's something we don't often talk about. Living within your means, we focus on cutting expenses, but at the end of the day, focus on your earning power and your ability to make more money. If you focus on the things you can control and not worry about the things you can't control, you can't help but succeed financially.
Shafik, we have less than a minute, I'm told, but how will Canada fare? How will Alberta fare in 2012?
Well, Alberta will fare good, and again, I'm cautiously optimistic, and I said good as I raise my voice like it's a question mark. What's going to lead Alberta to a good sort of faring is the performance of commodity prices. If natural gas and if oil does well, and a lot of oil and commodity prices, natural gas prices, these international commodity prices are going to depend on what happens internationally. Europe has two main issues. The main issues are their austerity, and they might slip into a recession. So they actually might have negative GDP. China, like Beth was saying, has about a 5 to 7% GDP rate, but they might have a hard landing. Alberta is very dependent on those, and Canada is expecting around a 2% GDP, and that should be in line with our estimates. So that's what we're expecting.
All right, folks, thank you kindly for looking into the crystal ball and telling us what to expect in 2012. Happy New Year to all three of you. Jim Yee is a financial educator and founder of retirehappy.ca. Beth Hamilton-Keene, Director and Portfolio Manager with Moore Investment Management. And Shafik Hirani, Director and Senior Executive Financial Advisor with Investors Group, Calgary.